Hipper here. Now, I don't see as many Edinburghs out there as I want to see, so I have decided to make this coming week here Edinburgh week. And that means I will put up an Edinburgh battle every day. And, well, someone needs to do it because this ship is seriously underrepresented in the YouTube channels as a general, really. And of course I run an agile build. I'm just going through it here. Double rudder, and as commander I use Tennant with a Shirley in Baltimore and Takao. And the upgrades, as you saw, also stock standard for agile cruisers. So you got 3 super heals, 3 sonars and 3 radars with this build here. Also 16 range and 1.9 second rudder, amazing. 37 knots and a really tight turning radius. Like, this ship is awesome, and look at that armor, that's a bonus as well. Only Yamato and Georgia can overmatch your bow, and of course you also get the improved British acceleration. So let's kick the battle off here on Trap, which is such a great map. I'm so happy this is included in tier 7 now. But first, we should probably learn how to pronounce Edinburgh, and who better than the Scottish master that we all love and respect. Unfortunately he died a few years ago, but who's better than Sean Connery?
Edinburgh, 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 Edinburgh.
Alright, so with our Scottish lesson out of the way, we can start on the actual gameplay again here. And like I said, this is the map Trap, and I don't know if there's a better map for Edinburgh, but or Edinburgh, whatever you say it. But this is definitely one of my favorites with this ship here, because I like how this map here, it forces battleships to push, because if the battleships do nothing, then either the cruisers or the destroyers, they will simply just cap everything, and obviously the battleships will lose out. So it's pretty much a requirement to win on this map to have battleships that push. If the battleships don't push, it's pretty much a loss. This map also teaches people the importance of flanking, because if you don't own one of the flanks, and you have to own more than half of the flank, then there is no way really to contest the B cap here in the middle. Well, you can, but it's very, very difficult. If you have a flank, it's much easier, and especially if you're allowed to get in a little bit into the enemy territory on one of the flanks, because then it's pretty much impossible to hide in here. And so many teams just don't do that on this map. They all pretty much play on Greece. Either nobody goes for B or everybody goes for B, and both tactics are wrong. I mean, obviously, like, you cannot give up a flank on pretty much any map. And sure, you only really need one ship to go into B and hold it, but you still need someone to back that ship up. And I don't know what's going on this map here, but I just see so many teams just totally well, playing this map wrong. And of course that's why I do this video here, because this is how I play it in Edinburgh and in Exeter and in Albemarle and in Hipper and in Prince Eugen and pretty much all the torpedo equipped cruisers. If I play a Wichita, I'll play differently, and if I play a Targo, I also won't go in here, because a Targo is just not maneuverable enough in a confined space to actually perform the quick and, you know, special maneuvers that you have to do in here. On the other hand, Edinburgh is just perfect for that, because you have that super fast rudder and you have that very, very small turning radius, and of course you also have that British acceleration that just helps you so much. Just missed out on the kill there. Anyway, so we're just going over here. We've already taken B, so we're just gonna go a little bit this way here to see if we can assist with the guys over here. taking this cap because yeah, the Reds have pretty much fled over here. And like I said in the beginning, that is a recipe for disaster. Because now we own this flank here, and it's going to be extremely difficult for the Reds to retake B. Because like I said, I already took it. And I always do that. I try to do that as early on in the battle as possible. Because from then on, time works for me, not against me. So I can kind of loosen up and do other stuff, because I know that we at least have the most difficult cap in the game. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for the Reds to retake it. And I think that's a pretty good way to play the ship here. Edinburgh in particular, Hipper as well, but in particular Edinburgh. The best thing about this ship is that it's not a premium. It is a tech tree ship. Anyone can grind their way to Edinburgh, and provided you have high level Tenant, high level Azure in Baltimore, then you have all the ingredients for the ship that probably is one of the most entertaining ships in the game, really. It has radar that is like a must at tier 7, and it has sonar, a very good sonar by the way, and it has 3 amazing heals, like crazy heals. And that's very important because this ship also has a 30mm bow. That means, like I said before, you can bow tank pretty much anything in the game except for Yamato and Georgia. That's it. Anything else, if you're in a tight spot, just point your nose at them and, well, see if you can't get out of that tight spot somehow, because sooner or later a battleship is going to citadel you through the deck or something like that. But of course, 30mm bow, that is, it's just amazing. And in a cruiser versus cruiser fight, you can just sit there, nose on, and just pretty much just fire away. Because if you're dealing with someone without torpedoes, as long as you don't get rammed, then sooner or later you will succeed. It is a little bit difficult against the really tough HE spammers like Cleveland, for example. In that case, you should probably try to run away instead of bow tanking. So it's always a toss-up, really. So in the end, you will know what to do in any situation in Edinburgh, just like any other ship in the game. So we've taken a flank, and the Reds have taken a flank. But if you look at the map, you can see what the Blues are doing. They're actually pushing through just a little bit more than the middle of the map. And that's so important. That means that the Fiji has trouble actually entering this B cap here. And at the same time, the Reds haven't done this. They're still sticking to their part of the map. And of course, this is all situational. In some battles, it's a very good idea. And in some battles like this one here, it's probably better to actually have someone spotting out on the flank. Because I can just sit here and pretty much untouchable unless all 3 or 4 of them rush me at the same time. And of course that's not the best idea in this situation here, because I have quite a bit of backup here behind me. So a setup like this, the Edinburgh is a real thorn in the side to deal with. Especially on a map like Trapped here, where, for example, this Colorado here, he is unable to do anything. He cannot hit me in here. And, well, like I said before, that's one of the reasons I love this map. And I am ecstatic that this map was included for Tier 7 battles. Because I always loved it when I played Tier 5 in Exeter. And I was always just thinking, oh wow, if only I had this map in Edinburgh. And then it just happened. I don't know why it happened, but I can certainly say that this is probably one of the best decisions Wargaming has made in the time that I've played this game, which is pretty much the whole time. Now, I think in general, British cruisers don't get the respect they deserve in the community. For example, a ship like Albemarle is kind of treated like, you know, like a clown ship that all it's good at is getting citadel. And sure, yeah, it eats citadels, but it's also an extremely powerful ship. And although Edinburgh probably enjoys the highest standing in the community, it's not a ship that I see out there a lot. And when I see one, I always see it with smoke. I don't think I've ever seen a radar at Edinburgh. So anyway, let's get back to the battle here. This Fiji here is trying to push, and of course he has to. I mean, time is running out, and there's not much they can do. And of course, that ship is paper thin, so citadels are pretty easy to come by here and just finish him off. And of course, we eat a torpedo here, but it doesn't really matter that much. I still have my position, and I wasn't pushed out into the range of any other ships or anything like that. We just dealt with the Fiji, and of course it's a tier 6, but still, I mean, Fiji can be a very dangerous ship as well. I don't play it much because it relies too much on smoke, I think. I much prefer a ship like Edinburgh here, or Exeter, or Albemarle for that matter, or Minotaur. There's so many to choose from. And on another note, if you are still thinking which commander to upgrade to an agile commander, because I know it's a lot of sacrifice to do that, I would recommend Tenant, because there are just so many ships that actually benefit from having him at a high level. All the ones I just mentioned, Edinburgh, Exeter, Cheshire, Albemarle, yeah, well, Fiji, pretty much all British cruisers really. So the Cleveland makes a move, and he shouldn't have done that. That was a very nice citadel there, right in the citadel, as you say. And of course you have to keep an eye on this other battleship here that's trying to creep around, because I believe what they were trying to do is to push me out in front of the key here. And then of course the key is, well, it's basically an MRG, so you don't want to be in front of that in any ship basically. And of course the key also has torpedoes, and that's why I am being very careful around this guy here, because sooner or later we're probably going to have some sort of torpedo shootout here that'll decide which of us gets to keep this B cap here. And that's fun. I love that. Another thing to mention about Edinburgh, or Edinburgh as Sean Connery would say, is that you don't get any high explosive shells, so you're just gonna have to do your thing without them. So that means that HE spamming from afar in the ship here is pretty much not, well, it's not possible. It's not pretty much not possible. It is not possible because you don't have HE. And also AP spamming like Minotaur is also not really on the table, because you do have a 7-second reload. Of course you can put that down lower, but that means you'll have to sacrifice an agile build, and I really don't recommend that. Sure, Edinburgh works with smoke as well, but I think the gameplay takes a real turn for the worse when you pop smoke on the ship here. So here was the torpedo shootout I was talking about earlier, and I was just hoping I had some torpedoes for that Vanguard there, but unfortunately I didn't. And luckily there is a Colorado coming, so I'm just keeping my bow towards this annoying guy over here shooting at me. It's not going to do much because I believe he's shooting high explosives, and of course you can't really bow tank that. But I am a smaller target, and just send a few torps here. I'm pretty sure he's going to be turning when he spots that first torp, so I just put 2 of them just a little bit like more to the right than the indicator said, and that's why I'm hoping I'll get a very nice hit on this guy here. But I'm not going to stay out here because it's just a matter of time before he shoots at me. So we're going to go in here and then just have a little peek. How do we do? Yes, very nice. High caliber in the pocket. So I've pretty much just been sitting in here. I haven't actually utilized my agile build a lot. I've used the acceleration and the rudder a lot, but I haven't really been kiting or evasion tanking or anything like that. I just get into this position early on, and then I make it like really hard to take it from me. And you can see how I pretty much fought off every ship that was trying to get in here, and that's just what Edinburgh does so well. It's just a great ship, and especially with that acceleration and the incredible bow armor and the very fast reload. It just has a tool for pretty much every situation. It reminds me a lot of playing Exeter, actually. Another ship that I really enjoy, and probably the best premium in the game. And of course, Edinburgh, Exeter, they have a lot in common, but they're also very different. I mean, Exeter doesn't have anywhere near the armor of Edinburgh, and Exeter also has, I believe, probably double the reload time. But they both have torpedoes and like sonar, obviously, and then Edinburgh can switch the smoke for a radar. And really, the radar and the fast reloading, very nasty AP here, is one of the reasons that this ship is just so good at disposing of destroyers, especially early on in the battle, where you can catch them like inside the cap, and like I did in the beginning here, while they're trying to cap, because like you see, I go 38 knots in this ship here, and that's about the same as a Japanese destroyer without the speed boost on. And that means that, well, while you can't catch destroyers as such, you can surprise them in unexpected situations. And that's one of the reasons Edinburgh is so much fun. And we'll get into that in the later videos. So anyway, that was the first of this week's videos of Edinburgh with an agile build. And I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And I'll see you out there.